Minister Vijay. His big promises, how much of a reality can they really become? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, he's kick-started his tenure as a chief minister with the big decisions, including free electricity. But the cost to the exchequer is only going to mount, even as he's also red-flagged the debt trap of Tamil Nadu. This seems to be his first big test, and that's going to be our first deep dive. Our second deep dive, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be about work from home. That's right. Prime Minister has made 7 appeals around an attempt to save fuel. One of them is the return to work from home. Now, most of us are absolutely familiar with this. The COVID era taught us solid lessons. But what does it mean in 2026? Remember, this wave, if it does start, we're calling it the work from home 2.0. If this does start, this is coming after corporates, big tech started forcing employees to return to physical workspaces. Is India ready for work from home 2.0? And lastly, we have a very quick conversation on Donald Trump and Xi Jinping's meeting. This, of course, comes as the war escalates. There's a ceasefire, it escalates again. But what does it mean for these two economies and the world as they look beyond it all? But first, let me take you through the headlines. West Bengal Chief Minister Suvendu Adhikari chairs first cabinet meet, announces 6 key decisions, approves transfer of 600 acres of land to BSF for fencing the border with Bangladesh. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister C. Joseph Vijay visited the residence of DMK President and former Chief Minister MK Stalin, marking a significant change in the state's leadership. NCW Fact-Finding Committee releases report on TCS Nashik case. Report flags pervasive sexual harassment, abuse of authority at the workplace and targeting of young female employees. Ladies and gentlemen, from welfare to law and order, Chief Minister Vijay has rolled out his first major decisions after taking charge. The new government has announced 200 units of free electricity for domestic consumers for households across the state. Cracking down on crime and narcotics has also been prioritized, with orders issued to set up a special task force focusing on drugs and women's safety, and in a move signaling scrutiny of the previous administration's handling of the economy, the Chief Minister has also announced plans to release a white paper on the state's finances. A white paper on the state's fiscal health that Chief Minister said is in dire state, setting a war of words between the now former Chief Minister MK Stalin versus Chief Minister Vijay. Vijay claimed that they had inherited a state with 10 lakh crore debt. He said, "I request people to be patient and give me time to deliver promises." MK Stalin was quick to respond. The money is there. What is needed is efficient administration. Do not say there is no money at the very beginning. You are now stepping into governance. You will learn the challenges. Do not mislead people who voted for you. So, what does Tamil Nadu really look like? Total debt at 10 lakh crore rupees. State debt equals nearly 26% of the state's GSDP. 1 lakh crore rupees estimated total annual welfare bill, and welfare spending estimated at nearly 50% of state tax revenue. And then you have Vijay's whole promises. 2,500 monthly assistance for homemakers under the age of 60. 6 free LPG cylinders per household annually. 200 units of free electricity per month for every home. Gold, silk, wedding saris for families with less than 5 lakh annual income. 4,000 monthly financial aid for unemployed graduates. And I'm being joined at this point by Dr. Pentapati Pulla Rao, who's a political analyst, Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, who's a political analyst. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, I'm being joined by S. Muralidharan, who's a political analyst. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Well, Dr. Pentapati Pulla Rao, how do you look at what's before Chief Minister Vijay?
Well, you know, obviously, he must have known these challenges. When you make promises at election time, you'll have to honor them, or some of them. But before I get into this whole thing, whether he can do it or not, there's one small secret in all of these things. Governments announce pre-election gifts or whatever, freebies. They don't implement them fully. They say we give women a free bus, but they don't put it on all routes. They don't put 100 buses on a route, they put 20 buses on some routes. So they carefully reduce the promise, but it sounds good. I have seen this free bus thing in many states. I've seen the free power thing also. It works to some extent. I am not against giving things like free power because it's a positive income for anybody who gets a benefit. And all of that, it comes back to the government. If I have 1,000 rupees in my hand, I'll spend it. I won't go to the bank and keep it. Low income, middle income people spend their money. It's only the very rich people who won't throw it in the bank. Therefore, it comes back to the government in other forms. It definitely creates employment. But yes, you see, before the election, all parties find reasons to suggest free things. All of them. I'm not going only to friend Vijay or anything. And then, the end of it, when it starts coming, they stagger it, they shorten it, they size it, they downsize it. For example, I know my two friends, they must be thinking I'm cynical about it, but observing it firsthand, I'm saying it. What they do is handicapped people will give you a pension, provided you have 80% handicap or 60% handicap. How will you be 80% handicap? You know, for example, or whatever the percentage is, they reduce it. They keep you going around. That's what they'll do. I'm quite sure to some extent in Madras also, Tamil Nadu, they will be reducing these things and somehow adjusting. But the last thing is, Tamil Nadu is a good economic state, well administered historically. It's one of the best or better administered states in India. The politicians, whoever they are, largely leave the bureaucracy to its own. I hope Mr. Vijay does that. I hope he'll not try to bring in all kinds of people. Let the bureaucracy flow, set them the challenges, and to a certain extent, he may be able to meet these challenges.
Okay. S. Muralidharan come in at this point, because at the end of the day, even if we go with what Dr. Pentapati Pulla Rao has said, the truth remains Vijay has given a dream, has sold a dream. The dream is that this time he is at the helm, it's going to be different.
He's a dream merchant, so that's what they're, popularly known for. So they will keep giving dreams, but the reality is totally different. 10 lakh debt is not easy to bridge. And he's got multiple challenges. On top of the 10 lakh, he has also promised so many doors. So to keep up all that, it's a huge challenge, and he need a fantastic finance minister assisted by a few other bureaucrats. Now, if that doesn't happen, he's in a soup. Apart from that, there are other challenges. From the other side, see, all these DMK corrupt ministers, against whom the state police has not filed FIR. In fact, the ED has gone in a couple of cases and requesting the Madras High Court to direct them to file FIR. So those FIRs may not get filed at all because, on a razor-thin margin, he is depending on those DMK allies to run his government. So that part is definitely a dream which will never be fulfilled, because the moment he touches that, his government will get pulled down. The other side is there are certain things which he can really stop, because without antagonizing DMK or the other allies, which is state is #1 in dog bites today. Last 4 months we had 2.6 lakh dog bites. 17 people died of rabies. 1. 2, state is #1 in accidents on highways. We are #1. And third, Number of POXO cases, which went up 40% in the last 2 years. We are a POXO capital, which he can correct. And then, so there's probably one more thing, which is which he can which is the tax corruption. People being looted for every bottle sold. People are being looted for 10 to 20 rupees over and above the MRP, and which amounts something like 10 to 15 crores a day. That's huge corruption. Now, these are things which he can, clamp down and set it right. Then the drug menace, which is already announced a team of people who will stop the drug menace and also crime against women and children. So those two things, these are things which he can handle. But when it goes to, when it comes to cracking down on the ADMK or the DMK ex-ministers, he will fail. He will not be able to do it. And the biggest challenge will be giving this money out to the people, whatever he has promised.
Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, I leave the fact about his ability to reign in AIA, DMK or to checkmate that or to counter that. That's a debate for another day. But what we are really looking at, where's the money?
See, Sneha, ravism has replaced rowdyism as the new menace in Indian politics. It is not just Vijay. It is not just Vijay or TVK. It is with every party. Be it BJP, be it AIADMK, which promised fridges for every household. We see the menace playing out in Karnataka, where they are not able to expand the fleet, giving free buses, bus rides, not able to pay teachers. And the guarantee business is also playing out in Telangana, in Himachal Pradesh, in Punjab. So it's a national issue, not just confined to Vijay. And see, one of the downsides of democracy is that once a populist measure is taken up, other players have to be competitive to counter it. They can't be left behind, and that's how electoral democracy works. So every party is doing it, and because of that, the revenue expenditure keeps going up, but the capital expenditure keeps coming down. That has to be the share, the pie chart has to be shifted accordingly. Because of that, capital projects will not happen, infrastructure development will not happen. For example, Karnataka, they are not able to extend the metro line beyond a certain point because they don't have the finances. So these sort of things will happen, but the effects of this will be displayed only later. But political parties live for the short term. So I think they have to do what they have to do.
But here's the thing, Bhanuchandra. At the end of the day, it's okay to take a high hand at this point. It's okay to take the hand at, but every government, AIA, DMK, who can forget the way they really doled out freebies? Who can forget that culture in Tamil Nadu? DMK, how can that be forgotten? You have sacks and you have mixies and you have a whole political history about that. So, you can go government after government after government, but the question that we are really looking at this point is, where will Vijay get that money from? And possibly, if anybody could, it possibly could be Vijay with the funding that he's been getting.
So, like the first speaker was saying, like there's going to be a lot of conditionalities that will be applied. Okay, so there will be like income limits placed, okay, etc., to actually reduce the pool of beneficiaries. But see, like there is a perception, even from the populace, there is a expectation of a Mai Baap Sarkar, right? And also it plays to the God complex of politicians. They want to like give the Vardhan of like freebies and whatever, the TVs, washing machines, everything. So I think it is something that electorate has to mature to know that this is actually bad for the kids, because like many times they take the state incurs debt to implement these programs. So I mean this has to see also, like Vijay will not have any problems doing this, because people didn't vote for Vijay particularly for the freebies. Okay, there's a attraction towards Vijay that got him the votes, not his manifesto, because it was released 2 days before the elections and there was no discussion pretty much on what the manifesto entails. And since the other, like what you said,
no, I think a whole lot of I would disagree with you on that, because I think a whole lot of discussion happened on what his manifestos were, from gold to silk saris. I think there was a whole lot of discussion around all of that.
On ADMK, not on TV.
No. On TVK, gold. How much was it? If I've got it, was 8 grams of gold, I think. If I'm not wrong, if you could correct me on that. But Dr. Pentapati Pulla Rao, if you could come in at this point. I mean, TVK, as I said earlier, gave a dream. It rode the poor wave with just one assurance, and that was they will bring in the change that's required. So that there was this youth connect, there was the youth language that was being spoken, there was the AI and so much more other modes of reaching out to people that was initiated. There were these massive larger than life rallies that, you know, he spearheaded, obviously because he was a cine star. But there was one thing that he did which all political parties do, and that is freebie promises. I think Vijay had a pulse on that. He realized that's a key to the heart for voters as well. However much we may want to criticize, and particularly when it comes to Tamil Nadu's fiscal health, it's been a back and forth between the centre and the state. Whether it be BJP at the centre and DMK at the state, it has been a back and forth for months and months and months. So it's not like voters stepped back at that time and said, oh, where will the money come from? There's been so much back and forth about it. He wrote to part on the promises of freebies apart from others.
To tell you, I don't know. I think both my friends are also independent analysts. So I can tell you, Vijay faces a challenge, a political challenge. How is he going to deal with the central government? Will he have good relations or working relations at least? So far, politically, that doesn't seem to be the case. Unless he's going to reverse his role fast and give governance priority. Yes, BJP ruled states have better times than others. I don't agree with such a philosophy, but that's what's happening. How is he going to do that? How is he going to cross that river or whatever? Second thing is, as my friend Mr. Muralidharan said, he must have governance. What Mr. Muralidharan pointed out are some issues which will have deep impact. Change doesn't mean freebies alone. Change means governance. Is he going to give a different kind of governance? Will people feel we got a new government at last? You know, like the first few months, first few years of Kejriwal in Delhi, they said we had something new. So, you know, later on he petered away into a ridiculous misgovernance. But in the beginning, he's really capable of that. Politically, he's hamstrung. He has taken support from the party and the man whom he defeated as his target. He can't cross certain lines. But aside from that, you know, freebies can be covered to some extent if he gives top-notch governance. I don't know. There must be some fantastic ministers whom he has already taken, and we don't know their talent, their business.
I mean, at the end of the day, at least what we know is the core of the ministers that he seems to have ensured took their oath in the beginning, at least was part of part of those who were the key strategists for him and who orchestrated a history and a victory like none other have been able to in Tamil Nadu. So let's just hope they have something better to offer as well.
They have to have that, you know, that smartness, which they can say we are better than the DMK. We give, you know, we give some kind of new rule, corruption free, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
are they going to be able to do it? That is a big thing.
True.
That is a very big thing I'm looking for in the next month. It's all right when a new minister is there, he looks very smart and young and, you know, all this nonsense. But that is not the duty of a minister. Minister should have a lot of common sense, a lot of other qualities, not what we see on the stage, whether they're cringing and whether they're bowing or whether they're clever, whether they're smart, whether they're rich, they did good business, they're good movies, whatever. So that's what we should wait for, what kind of team he has assembled. And, you know, many a time ministers, you know, for example, the first term of Mamata Banerjee, she had a fantastic finance minister. After 5 years, she threw him out. That's the sad part. You know, a man like Manmohan Singh. So what kind of ministers he has got, what kind of ability, that's going to determine his rule. And the change you pointed out. Change doesn't mean more freebies. What is the change? People who voted for him without money and freebies. So he's up to a challenge. And the challenger is himself. Can he deliver governance? And governance can't be delivered in 5 years. In the first 6 months, people will form an impression of you.
That's true.
First 3 months. That's
true.
what we have to wait for.
In fact, Muralidharan, you know, just to take from where Mr. Pularao has left it, he's saying governance is critical. Of course it is, but do you really think governance can be separated from fiscal health as well? I think a whole lot of governance is also dependent upon fiscal health. That being one part of it, who do you think is saying the truth? Vijay says, look at this, there's a 10 lakh crore debt that the state is reeling under. Stalin says, don't create a facade. I mean, I'm you know, shifting words around, but he's saying don't create a facade out of something that's not. The debt is within the permissible limits. This is how administration is run. Which side would you take?
No, I would like to look at the fact. See, the biggest problem he has is whatever revenue the state is generating right now, that is going into paying the interest for the loan. That's all.
The
So
chunk,
he has to generate,
the chunk of it, correct.
Yeah, the chunk of it, not chunk of it. Most of it is going into paying the interest. So rest he has to generate more revenue. How is he going to do? Does he have a magic wand to do that? So these are questions. So, and apart from that, his advice. So Pullara mentioned about experts whom he's got to have, finance minister, tester, etc. But the people who sworn in yesterday, some 10 people, and the people who backing him up, it's the same people who advised him on the crore issue. After that, he went into hiding for 1 month, which was very sad. And same thing happened when they were taking off, before they were taking the oath, proving the majority. Every day, like a small boy going to the governor's office saying, see, I got the numbers.
It's coming at this point. Mr. Muralidharan,
again, they go back. This is the number.
Mr. Muralidharan, we may say he was into hiding. I mean, okay, everybody can have their own opinion, but by hindsight, when we really look at this, the communication was happening. He was reaching out to his supporters the way he wanted to. He was not there in the media. His campaign was going out. He was not on the media. He was not on the ground.
No, he was not there anywhere, because the crore incident happened 30 days. He went into hiding. After that, even the campaigning, he did the least number of days. He did some 16 campaign meetings, whereas Stalin had done something like 3,000 kilometers, and Mr. Edapadi would have done something 5,000 kilometers, and they are 70 plus. And what stopped him from doing all? So he is here because his political, his movie charisma and his superstar status. Now he has to walk the talk. Now he has to prove everything. He has to set everything right. It's a huge challenge in front of him, and he doesn't have this advice. I can tell you today what he has done. He has antagonized the the center further. Today he went and met all those old discarded Dravidian leaders. Is that a priority? What are you trying to do? Are they going to give you the money? Or are they going to give you some moral support?
So who do you think he should have met?
He should have gone met the Prime Minister, saying that, sir, we are in doldrums. I need 10 lakh crores to set this aside so that I can start governing. He is in deep soup. Instead, he is going and meeting all the old Dravidian guys, whose ideology does not, Periyar and all this ideology does not exist. They keep saying Periyar is
Mr. Muralidharan, I think you will have to wade into this territory very carefully. To say Periyar's ideology doesn't exist, Periyar is irrelevant, I think these are very, very worrying words, particularly when it comes to Tamil Nadu. Because let's also remember, Vijay has spoken about Periyar. Vijay spoke about Periyar repeatedly during his campaigns. He has reached out to people even on the basis of Periyar. I think Periyar has huge relevance in terms of the emotive.
Not at all.
He does.
Not
I think. Let me see. Do both of you here, Mr. Dr. Pentapati Pullarao, Bhanuchandar, Nagarajan, do you agree with what Muralidharan says? That figures like Periyar are obsolete. They are irrelevant to Tamil Nadu politics anymore. Would you say that?
I would not. I'd qualify it a bit. I think what Mr. Muralidharan is saying, the past is there, but you have to look to the future.
I think that's a different way of putting it.
But to say that it's going to guide you, you can't do that. 100 years ago, there was a different kind of economic philosophy in the world. There was no free trade. Everything was mercantilism. No country, was without free trade. So perhaps, and also, many issues were raised. Though I have some personal sympathies, not attachments to any views of political parties. Many, many issues were raised. Now they are found to be non-issues. Non-issues. The public are not interested in them. Between the ages of 18 and 39, I may be corrected, 65% voted for Vijay. And they were not asked to vote. Nobody gave money in their pockets. And they constituted 40% of the electorate. They just went and voted. They told each other, let's vote for him for change. So Mr. Vijay, of course, is doing the ritualistic thing, which I would say is fine. You know, if you don't do the ritualistic thing, they'll get upset. Might as well go and do your ritualistic thing and say namaskar and move on.
No, but at the end of the day, Vijay has said that he will be meeting Prime Minister
that's up to him. If he doesn't
I
meet
think
the
that
Prime
is
Minister,
on the cards. It's already been spoken about that.
He's not doing a favor to the Prime Minister.
And to just put it to rest, I think it's important for our viewers to know when it comes to Periyar and his ideology. He's also known as somebody who's the ideological father of modern Tamil Nadu. I can see very clearly Muralidharan smirking at me.
Not at all. Not at all. He said there's no God. He started beating up Brahmins. He started cutting their sacred thread. Cutting their,
I think it comes from different perspectives, but Periyar does carry a whole lot of emotive value to where Tamil Nadu is, and that's why every election he's also invoked by leaders. Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, your last words, please.
So the thing is, I think we got sidetracked with Periyar, but Vijay has professed Periyar as one of his ideologues, among the 5 ideologues, and he's going to position himself as the Neo-Dravidian party. So Periyar will continue through Vijay. It has some emotive, it has some emotive value. But coming back to the fiscal part of it, I think Tamil Nadu is a bureaucrat-run state. It doesn't matter who the finance minister is. In fact, we had the MIT-educated PTR Palnivel Rajan, who was arguably one of the worst finance ministers of the last 10 years. The O. Paneerselvam and the one followed PTR. They did much better job than PTR because it's bureaucracy run. But one part of this daily business is that what happens is at some point if they are not able to implement it, they will put the blame on the center. They say that the center is not cooperating, so on and so forth. So this blame game will start and things may go sideways. But coming to good governance, there are many aspects to good governance. Law and order can be improved, women's safety could be improved because those are low-hanging fruits. Corruption can be actually curbed, and there's a lot of reforms. For example, DISCOM reforms. If actually Tamil Nadu's DISCOM is like one of the most indebted in the state. If those are reformed, then actually you can get new sources of revenue. There are creative ways of doing it, but I think I think if he selects the good bureaucrats and he keeps them on line, which his supporters intend, hope he does.
Okay. I think I'm afraid, sir, I'm completely out of time. It's been a sweeping, I can't say a sweeping mandate, but of course it was a huge historic win, single largest party, a chief minister like never before for Tamil Nadu. Expectations are huge, challenges are huge, a lot that he can do. What we'll have to see whether there's going to be any health improvement when it comes to Tamil Nadu's fiscal health. Thank you very much, Dr. Pantapati Pullarao. Thank you very much, Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, and thank you very much, S. Muralidharan, for joining us. Time for a very short break. On the other side is India ready for work from home 2.0.
कुछ भी खा नहीं पा रहा हूँ, बहुत अपसेट हूँ।
Take a date, not bites.
No added sugar, प्रिजर्वेटिव के बिना डेट्स, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया लायन डेट्स नट बाइट्स।
Lion date, not bites.
मंडे आइएगा सब पेपर्स के साथ।
सारे पेपर्स हैं सर। होम लोन के लिए बार बार बैंक के चक्कर लगाने से कैसे बचूं?
Welcome to this edition of the AI Report.
Accepted.
Amid a fragile ceasefire, stakeholders take on the tough questions.
Was Israel surprised by the asymmetric warfare which Iran started conducting?
Yes, I think it was a kind of surprise, the level of savagery.
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
So we have to defend ourselves.
Like never before, on point with Kartikeya Sharma, decoding Hormuz, Kharg and the ceasefire.
What is the future of peace in West Asia?
I hope that they got their lesson. That are supposed to give a chance. We stay ready in case it doesn't work.
Every war has a political objective.
The voices that matter, only on News 9.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at work from home 2.0. A fresh national debate is underway after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's appeal encouraging Indians to adopt fuel-saving habits and considering work from home whenever possible, reviving discussions around a potential work from home 2.0 era in India. The big question, is India truly ready for a large-scale shift back to remote work? Or are we overlooking the challenges that come with it? One side, supporters point to India's rapidly expanding digital backbone with nearly 1 billion internet users, widespread 5G rollout and strong adoption in IT and services sector. Companies have already experienced the benefits of hybrid and remote models during the COVID-19 period. Lower office costs, reduced commute times, improved flexibility and even productivity gains in certain sectors are being cited as key advantages. But on the other side, concerns are equally strong. Experts warn that work from home is not a universal solution. India's digital divide remains a major hurdle, with rural broadband access still uneven and millions lacking stable infrastructure for full-time remote work. Many workers also face challenges like limited home space, unreliable connectivity and blurred boundaries between professional and personal life. There are also deeper concerns: reduced collaboration, weaker workspace, mentorship and what some call the invisible employee problem, where remote workers risk being overlooked for promotions. Critically, analysts say only about 20 to 30% of India's workforce is truly suited for sustained remote work, largely concentrated in IT, finance and knowledge sectors. The rest of the economy remains dependent on physical presence. So while work from home 2.0 may offer fuel savings, cost efficiency and flexibility, the challenges lie in balance, ensuring productivity, equity and infrastructure readiness across a deeply diverse workforce. I'm being joined by Dilip Shenoy, former Secretary General FICCI, as well as Mitali Nikore, founder and Chief Economist, Nikore Associates. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me. Dilip Shenoy, let's just